Hello, this is Christine Hart-Savage, and I have the impromptu pleasure of interviewing the wonderful Sondra Ray. Sondra is one of the founders of Breathwork or Rebirthing, dating back to the early 1970s. So good afternoon, Sondra. How are you?
Hey, I'm feeling great. It's good to be back in Australia. Right now I'm in Sydney. Coming to Melbourne.
Yes, you're in Melbourne next week.
Yes, it's going to be great.
Now, Sondra, you've been a breath worker for a very long time now.
From the very beginning, I was one of the first ever in the world.
The Mother of Breathwork.
Right, 1974 we're talking about.
Wow. It's a long time ago, isn't it?
Yeah, fortunately I've always been a pioneer, and so I had the privilege of really helping start the whole thing, and I've been carrying on ever since, traveling ever since, telling the whole world about it.
In your words, what is breathwork?
Well, the type of breath work we do is not yoga breathing where you breathe in the stomach. This is totally different. This was originally called rebirthing, and now I call it liberation breathing because it really liberates you from your past and from your negativity and from your death programming and from your karma. Anyway, so I was there at the beginning, and we breathe in the upper chest in a circular, smooth rhythm without holding the breath at the top or the bottom, and you breathe like a whole hour. And you can actually remember your birth. Rebirthing is really spiritual purification. It's not therapy. But we breathe in the upper chest, not in the lower abdomen, and we breathe in a circular, smooth rhythm with no holding at the top or holding at the bottom. And this accumulates the energy in the body. And because you're not jogging or doing postures, you're not using up the energy. You are accumulating it in the body, and it has an innate intelligence and goes to whatever needs to be cleared in your body, whatever negative thoughts, memories, and blocks. And it feels really good. Your body starts vibrating, and you get quite high doing it, and you feel, like I said, liberated afterwards. And for me, I mean, it created miracles in my life. I had three major problems when I came to Rebirthing, and that was 1970s. Back there in 1974, we started it. I had been divorced, so my hair was falling out, and I had pain in my body for 14 years, which started when my father died, and I was having car accidents. So I had three serious problems, and I couldn't get help in my own profession, which was I was a nurse at the time. And I had access to the best doctors in the world, but they couldn't help me with any of these issues. So I was desperate, for something, and this was the answer. It solved all my problems.
Yeah, and I bet it solved them fairly quickly.
Yes, well, of course, my hair, it took a while to get that back, but it grew back. That's the main thing. I had a big bald spot on my head, and I was wearing wigs for 2 years. So that looked really hopeless to me, but even my hair grew back, so that was the miracle. But the main miracle I had was the pain in my body was released after only 3 sessions. It was released totally forever and never got it back.
Wow.
And I stopped having car accidents. So you can imagine, I said, this is it. I'm leaving medicine. I'm going to study spiritual healing and rebirthing.
Was there anybody else at all doing breathwork at that point?
Not the type that we do. This actually, Leonard Orr was kind of the founder of this type of breath work. Of course, there's been all kinds of breath work from eons of time. The yogis have always done breath work, and there's all kinds of different breath works, but not this particular type where you could actually remember your birth. And because we breathe in the chest, the birth trauma is kind of stored there because they cut our cord so fast, and we were choking on our amniotic fluid, and our breath mechanism got compromised. And so what we're trying to do is liberate the breath mechanism because we're trying to heal the damage down to the breath mechanism at birth. And so during that process, some people have vivid memories of their birth. So this type of thing has never been done before that.
So was the other type of breathing down into the abdomen as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of other breathing, and there's breathing where you hold your breath, and so on and so on. There's yoga breathing, and all breathing is good, but this is a specific type of breathing for a specific purpose. And it does also bring your unconscious to your conscious, which is the real gift, because then you can see what negative thoughts are down in your subconscious and release them.
Yes.
Because negative thoughts produce negative results. And the reason we get strange results in our life, like accidents and sickness and relationship traumas, is because we have a lot of negativity in our subconscious. So we need a way to clear that without hypnosis or without taking drugs. And this circular smooth breathing tends to bring the unconscious to the conscious. And that's the other benefit of it. And it also is a rejuvenating technique. It's not a therapy, it's a spiritual purification, and it also rejuvenates your body.
So really, we could get to a point where we reverse the aging process.
Yeah, especially now in this new energy coming in December 21st, we have such an opportunity to do that. If we are willing to raise the frequencies of our body, we can actually stop aging and even reverse death. And that is if you get in a high enough frequency.
Yes.
And see, liberation breathing, which is what I call it now, we work with the Divine Mother energy, and it's much more spiritual. And so my husband and I, what we do is we give the person a session, and then toward the end we read the 108 names of the Divine Mother and to the client and kind of pray for them. It takes everything to another level, and then at the end we do a mantra, and this makes it a lot more powerful and a lot more spiritual. So we call that liberation breathing.
That sounds really beautiful, Sondra.
Yeah, that is kind of a new expression of rebirthing. I mean, the breathing itself is the same, but it's another level of spirituality.
Yeah, it's bringing in those higher dimensions of the mother.
Right, and I'm coming to Melbourne to teach the loving relationships training because I did a lot of research originally on how your birth affects your relationships. And, I mean, that's kind of why I became famous, because nobody else was doing that. And as one of the first rebirthers on the planet, I started noticing how people's birth was affecting them, and they would come and tell me, my clients, they would come and tell me all their problems on their marriage, their sex life, their relationships. Then I would give them a session. They would have a birth memory, and I could see how their birth was affecting their relationships. And this was like revolutionary. So then I started talking about that, and people said it was so powerful. And then I put it into a 2-day seminar, and then I put it into a 3-day seminar. So we do it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we'll be having a group rebirthing session every single day when I'm in Melbourne. So people will get to taste it at the end of each day. So they don't have to sit in their chair suffering, going through whatever's coming up for them in the seminar and feeling uncomfortable, but we breathe every day.
Yeah, brilliant. You've been doing the LRT for a long time, the Loving Relationship Training.
Right, and now I've upgraded. I started that about the second or third year of rebirthing, and then I stopped doing it during the time my mother died and other people were doing it for me. And now I've rewritten it into a higher frequency, and I'm starting to do it again because people need help with relationships all over the world.
Oh, boy, yes.
We traveled to all countries. I mean, we just got back from a long South American tour, and everybody needs help on that subject, every country we go to.
The other training you called the God training that you're doing in Sydney.
Right, yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, I mean, in that training, I talk about the Course in Miracles, which are the books we study, which come from Jesus and their correction of religion, and I consider them to be the most important books on the planet today in 2,000 years.
Yes,
I really do.
I know them well.
And then we talk about Babaji, our spiritual master, and we talk a whole day on the Divine Mother, and then we do spiritual practices in the training. So that's called the God training. That's what I'm doing in Sydney this weekend.
Okay, and you're looking at doing that next year in Melbourne?
Yeah, I'd be totally open to that. I would.
It sounds like a great course. I certainly know myself and my clients would be interested in that particular course.
Yeah, great. Yeah. I'd love to.
Sounds wonderful. So where do you see the future of breathwork going, Sondra?
Well, I think I'm kind of on the cutting edge myself. That's why I've taken it to a new expression. I don't think other rebirthers are doing that yet, but I feel like I've always been a pioneer and I've always been on the cutting edge. So I've taken it to a new level by adding a more spiritual dimension. And so the people that are doing that feel like that's the latest thing, you know. So until I get other instructions from my master Babaji, that's what I'm doing. And as far as what other breath workers are doing, some of them are adding their own different techniques to it. But I don't believe in changing the technique at all. I believe keeping the technique the same and just adding the spirituality. So that's the way I'm taking it. That's the direction I'm taking it. I don't know if all other rebirthers are doing something else, but I'm busy doing this.
I certainly agree with you. I think it needs to go to a much higher spiritual frequency.
Well, especially in this new energy, the new, we're going to be in Bali for December 21st day, and I'll see if I receive further instructions, when we go to the new dimension.
So we could have something extra coming along there.
Yeah, it could be.
Very exciting. Sondra, is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
Well, I just like people to know that they don't have to be in pain. A lot of people are in pain and they're just tolerating it and they're just putting up with it and they're resigned to it. And that's a real shame because, I found the answer to how to get out of pain, physical pain, and I want other people to know they can get out of pain. And we say all pain is the effort involved in clinging to a negative thought. So the way you get out of pain is you have to locate what thought you're holding on to, and then you have to breathe it out. And you can clear pain in your body, and you absolutely don't have to tolerate it, and nor do you have to tolerate symptoms. I mean, we also have a lot of knowledge of spiritual healing, and if you get a symptom and you process it right away, it doesn't have to develop into something serious.
Yes.
So that's what I want people to know. And, it's possible to get back to the joy that you were born with,
And that's what we're all looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we're looking for, and that's why I keep traveling, because I was able to find the joy again in life and maintain it. So I want others to know they can do it.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much for your time,
thank
Sondra.
You. I look forward to seeing you. So you're welcome to come to the event. So be my guest.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Thanks, Sondra.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.